In 1975, a Kodak engineer built the world's first digital camera prototype. It was a breakthrough that would change photography forever. Yet less than 40 years later, Kodak filed for bankruptcy. How did the company that helped invent the digital future fail to lead it? Before Kodak, photography was anything but simple. Taking a single picture required bulky equipment, glass plates, long exposure times, and technical knowledge. Developing photos was a slow and expensive process, making photography a hobby for professionals and the wealthy. For most people, capturing everyday moments simply wasn't an option. Photography existed, but it was far from becoming part of everyday life. In 1888, George Eastman changed photography forever. He created a simple camera that ordinary people could use without years of training. Instead of complicated equipment, Kodak offered something revolutionary, a way for anyone to capture their own memories. The company's famous message was simple: "You press the button, we do the rest." Kodak would handle the developing, while people around the world could finally save their most important moments. Photography was no longer just for professionals. It became part of everyday life. Over the next century, Kodak became one of the most powerful brands in the world. Its yellow and black logo became a symbol of memories, family, and important moments. Millions of people used Kodak film to capture birthdays, holidays, vacations, and everyday life. The company built a massive business around film, paper, and photochemicals, creating an entire industry around the way people remembered the world. At its peak, Kodak was not just selling products. It was shaping how generations saw and preserved their own history. In 1975, inside a Kodak research laboratory, engineer Steven Sasson created something that seemed impossible at the time: the world's first digital camera prototype. The device was large, slow, and captured images with only a few thousand pixels. But the idea behind it was revolutionary. For the first time, a camera could capture an image without film. The future of photography had arrived inside the company that had built its empire on film. But this invention created a difficult question. What happens when the technology that changes the world threatens your most profitable business? Kodak understood that digital photography was coming. The company invested in research, developed new technologies, and even released digital cameras of its own. The problem was not a lack of ideas. The problem was the business model. Kodak made enormous profits from film, photo paper, and the chemicals needed to develop pictures. Every digital photo meant one less roll of film sold. The future Kodak had helped create was also the future that threatened its own success. And for a company built around film, changing direction was far more difficult than simply inventing a new technology. While Kodak was trying to protect its film business, the photography industry was changing faster than ever. Companies like Sony, Canon, and Nikon pushed digital cameras forward. Consumers started leaving film behind as digital images became easier to capture, store, and share. Then came another revolution: smartphones. The camera was no longer a separate device. It was something people carried in their pockets every day. The world had moved from taking pictures occasionally to capturing everything instantly. Kodak tried to adapt. The company created digital cameras, developed new technologies, and explored new markets beyond film. But the photography revolution was moving faster than Kodak could change. The company that once controlled the entire photography experience was now competing in a world where hardware, software, and online services mattered more than film. Kodak had spent decades building the perfect business for the old era. But the new era required a completely different way of thinking. By the early 2010s, Kodak was no longer the unstoppable giant it once was. The company that had brought photography to millions of people was struggling to survive in a world that had moved beyond film. In 2012, Kodak filed for bankruptcy protection under Chapter 11. After more than a century of defining photography, one of the most famous brands in the world was forced to rethink its future. The company that helped create the digital revolution had become one of its biggest casualties. The story of Kodak is not simply a story about a company that failed to change. It is a story about how difficult it can be to replace a successful past with an uncertain future. Kodak saw the digital revolution coming. It even helped create it. But knowing what will change is not the same as being ready to change with it. In business, the greatest threat is not always a lack of innovation. Sometimes, it is protecting the success that made you powerful in the first place. Thanks for watching. See you in the next story.